In this video, I will be assuming that you already know how to multiply small numbers together and that you know your times tables up to and including 9. If you want to multiply two numbers together, draw a rectangle roughly in the same proportion as the ratio of the number of digits of the two numbers. For example, if you need to multiply a 2-digit number by a 3-digit number, draw a rectangle that is 2 units wide and 3 units long. Now fill the rectangle with squares in the correct proportion. So in this example, there are spaces for 3 digits along the top and 2 digits up the side. Next, draw diagonal lines from the top right of each square right across the whole rectangle and right through it, and do this so that all the squares have a diagonal line through them. Let's assume that the 3-digit number is 847 and the 2-digit number is 43. So write 8, 4, 7 along the top and 4, 3 along the right hand side of the outer rectangle. You're now ready to multiply these numbers together. Each square represents an intersection between a digit from each number. So the first square is associated with 8 and 4. Because 8 times 4 is 32, 3 tens and 2 units, you write a 3 in the upper left triangle within that square and a 2 in the lower right triangle. Now moving along the rectangle, do the same thing for each square, each time multiplying both digits it's associated with. So 4 times 4 is 16, 7 times 4 is 28, 8 times 3 is 24, 4 times 3 is 12, and finally 7 times 3 is 21. Once all of the squares have been multiplied together, you're now ready to add up the digits for each diagonal. It didn't really matter which order you multiply the squares together, but you must start from the bottom right diagonal because you'll most likely need to carry digits across. The first one's simple, you can just write the 1 underneath itself. The second diagonal involves adding 8 plus 2 plus 2, which is 12. 1 tens and 2 units. You write the number of units underneath the diagonal and carry the number of tens across to the next diagonal on the left. So write 2 under the diagonal and carry 1 to the third. The second diagonal involves adding 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4 plus the 1 from the second diagonal. 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 14. 1 tens and 4 units. Write 4 under the diagonal and carry 1 to the fourth diagonal. The fourth diagonal is now 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. So no digits need carrying across this time, just a case of writing the 6 at the end of the diagonal. The fifth diagonal, like the first, is just a case of writing the digit down again outside the rectangle, so it's 3. If you read along the outside of the rectangle from left to right, you have 3, 6, 4, 2, 1. Therefore, 847 times 43 is 36,421. You can check it on a calculator if you like. You can use this method for any two numbers, and the more often you use it, the faster you'll get. So if you only have a pen and paper to hand and can't use a calculator for any reason, you can use this. If you need to multiply numbers together which have a decimal point in them, that's possible using this as well. Just do the same thing you did before, but ignore the decimal points until right at the end. So let's say you need to work out 2.7 times 8.3. Just pretend for now it's 27 times 83. When writing digits in the triangles, you can leave out any zeros because they won't affect the adding up stage. So you get 2,241 if it were 27 times 83. But you wanted 2.7 times 8.3. So now you put in the decimal points between the 2 and 7 and the 8 and 3. You have to add up the number of digits to the right of the decimal point for both numbers, so you know where to put the decimal point in the answer. There's 1 in 2.7, the 7, and 1 in the 8.3, the 3. So 2 digits altogether. So there'll also be 2 digits to the right of the decimal point in the answer. That means the answer has to be 22.41 for this example.